All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to the stream. I hope all is going fine on this hump day, this whatever Wednesday. Hope the weather is fine. We had a bit of a partly cloudy, very cloudy day today. It was cool, a bit breezy. Actually, did the lawn today. Couldn't wait. It's growing. Just so much rain. And then I'll be spending my time mowing the lawn probably a couple times a week for the next month or so. And then come July, August, and it will just like be brown and it will be dry. And it's been the way that it's been for a number of years now. Let's get some music playing here. What do I want to play? What do I want to play today? There's some synth music today. Played some yesterday. See if my music thing's working right. This stuff's supposed to be safe for Twitch. So not much planned for today. Well, I stream Steve if you got much planned, you know. You can see my hair. I after I did the lawn and that, I went and showered and then I just crashed. Got the nice wave going. I didn't went to bed with a wet head or just laid down. So that's why I got my headset on today to try to cover that up. Maybe, you know, it's an Andy Lippy special, you know. Be an old boomer with messed up hair. Just doesn't always look right for a boomer, does it? You know?
What a boomer.
Let me bring the volume down for me just a little bit. The background music is a little bit too loud, let me know.
Steve, someone has joined the chat on Twitch.
Hey, JJ.
Hello.
It's not making two messages. Yes, I did. I got a reply over on the StreamerBot Discord forum. Again, as I make stuff, I tend to make things more complicated than what they are. And it did need a if and statement. But here, let me kind of show you. So I think a lot of it has to do with the way I have the HTML for my music player refresh the album art, because sometimes it doesn't show right. So I have it refresh it a second time. And the first time that comes through, so what happens is if I have a timer put on, a delay, it sends two the same messages. If I take that delay off, the first message just shows in percent sign, line 0, percent sign. And then the next line comes up what the title of the track is, like it's supposed to. So the suggestion I got was to look at either file content or line count. So if you look at action history and you will see that now playing here, just came up once. you'll see this line count here, 1. And then line 0, which it should be reading and sending the message, if it goes through right, is the title, of the track with the artist. If it comes through with just line 0 will be blank, but line count will have a 0 in it. It didn't do a double there. When I was testing it yesterday, we'll see. The song's going to be ending in just a moment. It was creating 2 now playing, but one was just line 0, and then the other had the message in it. Okay, so you see right here, it did it twice, but you only see in the chat the one message. So the first one, here we go. There was no line 0, so no message went through. Line count 0. So that message doesn't have, it would show up as a message of percent line 0%. I don't want that one sent. When it refreshes right, you see line 0, line count then turns to 1, and the message from line 0 is now playing, and then the title on that. So what the action does, if the input on line count contains 0, break, do nothing. So if it comes through with line count 1, it will have the message in it and it will send that message through. It was as simple as that. I had too many if-and stuff going and a couple other things that I probably didn't need, and it sends a message to Twitch. Now, it doesn't send a music message to YouTube because YouTube doesn't get any music. But I do have another message that goes to YouTube that says, hey, you're not going to get any message. And that's how I fixed it. And it was a nice reply, simple fix, nice reply. It makes sense. But using the action history with StreamerBot, you're able to get, pretty much all these are variables and they're all usable. Pretty much you look at the variable that you're wanting to send through, in this case, line 0. But all these are variables which are all usable if you needed one way or another in StreamerBot. So that's how I did it. So it ended up being an easy fix, but it was driving me nuts because no matter how I would, sometimes it would send the text 3 times. Here we go with another tune, and then, it just came through once. And the action history, it shows 2 of them. One will get deleted, or it will stop the process, and the other will go through. So that's all it was. So I'm trying to set something up. I see when you go into a lot of streams, the streamer, I have the welcome, like you show up, I have the welcome stream, it lets me know that someone joined the chat with some first words, so I don't miss anybody. But some of the streamers have where if you are a streamer, it does a shout out for you. And I know there are some automatic shout outs out there, but I'm trying to do it myself. So I created a list. I won't know until some of those other Twitch or YouTube streamers pop in. I'm hoping that if I set it up right, not it will move to the Twitch shout out or the YouTube shout out. Actually, right now, the Twitch, that's all I said it was the Twitch shout out. The Twitch shout out, which is a little bit different, but then also sends out a link for that streamer. So I was working on that before I went on.
Someone has joined the chat on Twitch.
Hello, Thailand.
Hello, G-Scape. I am using bottles. So I am on EndeavourOS, the GNOME edition, and I am using bottles. And bottles has a really nice, easy install for StreamerBot. And it works pretty well for me. I mean, there's some things missing. SpeakerBot. You're not going to be able to get SpeakerBot or voice control, but I built my own voice control using Vosk, so I don't need SpeakerBot or the StreamerBot voice control. But yeah, I'm using the bottles install. I used when I first started using StreamerBot about 3 years ago. I did do the wine install, and it was pretty straightforward. But the bottle install is actually, so if you know about bottles, they already have some Windows programs in there you can install, and one of them is StreamerBot. So it makes it really easy. The thing that I learned that I had to do, so I wasn't getting the chat. So on my middle monitor here is my, the StreamerBot chat. This would come up blank, and it has to do with the WebView 2. Even though WebView 2 is installed during the process, I looked at how some others were doing it, and when I originally installed created the bottles for StreamerBot, I created it with Windows 10, and the suggestion is to when you create it to change the environment to Windows 7. And even though when the StreamerBot process, it will install WebView 2, I installed WebView 2 first. And then I'm able to get the chat window. You have bottles, you didn't know be able to use it. It is pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. And also, so like
Steve,
sometimes in
someone
wine,
has joined the chat on Twitch.
Hello, Thailand.
my songs are not recycling. Hello, Lucid Links. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, StreamerBot. I'll show you. I'll take you through it. But the two things, if you don't set up the Windows 7 environment and kind of install.
Someone has joined the chat on Twitch.
Hello, Cyber Wolfie.
Certainly glad you could join us today.
Welcome. How's MX Linux working for you? Has it survived? Good. And there's a pretty good team behind that. So if you just reach out to you go to mxlinux.org and you'll find their forum. And they're pretty helpful. You'll see Run with the Dolphin, that's the main developer. You'll see him in a lot of the Linux chats on live. If you like on Saturday nights, there's the Linux Saloon, and you'll see him in there from time to time. The only thing is it the battery? Oh. But gee, so I was not able to get the chat up first, and also for let's see if I can find one for the C# stuff. The window wouldn't open. Where do I have some stuff? I have it. Oh, Blue, he's got some stuff here. That's not what I'm looking for. But you're able. Oh, you're able to go into core C#. Come on, I can't. And the C# window will work. If you're not able to get WebView 2 right installed or get it installed properly, you're not going to get this stuff. Now, not everybody, I don't always use C#. I'm starting to try to learn it a bit. Battery life on Linux sucks in general. But yeah, especially on older laptops, I got to get a new HP battery for my wife's laptop. But if you want to set up a bottles, you install bottles first. And it's as simple as you hit the plus sign here. The way now you'll get, if you go to the StreamerBot forum or you look online, you're going to get a couple of different suggestions. This is the one that I do. I select custom. I leave the 64-bit architecture. I leave the SOTA 9.0. Leave all that as it is, and then do, and you got to name it. So I'll just do a separate name. I'll just do SB test. And create. Takes a while for the build to happen. Your main problem now is a little struggle learning about Linux itself. I'll probably talk more next stream, though, because I'm on a VR chat. Okay, movie night. There you go. I'm here to help when I can, where I can. But yeah, Linux is it's a long learning process. It could be in a way as easy as you need it to be, or as hard as you need it to be. So the bottle was created. So this is where you go in and so I look at, let's see, is it the settings? Let's see, that stays. I don't change anything in the settings, but here for system, nope, that's system, sorry, my bad. Windows version, change this from Windows 10 to Windows 7. Okay. Enjoy your movie night, Cyberwolf, and I'm glad things are working out for you. And it's pretty quick. It'll change. I don't change anything else. I don't do anything here. Now you may have to change. Make sure that you also use flat seal, because you'll need to open up some permissions for it to read your system. But then once you get StreamerBot in there and under Windows 7, you can go back And you want to look at the dependencies, and this is where you would go and look for WebView 2. Now, like I said, when you do install StreamerBot, it will install WebView 2, but when I did it this way, I was able to get the chat window and the C# windows to open. The WebView 2, essential, you just click on the download. It'll install. Now it will install when you're installing StreamerBot, and I'll show you the program. You're able to install it without having to do any commands. .NET 481 needs to be installed. It will automatically install during the StreamerBot process, but I also installed that with WebView 2 just to have it in there. So the first time I installed my BIOS installation with Windows 10, even with WebView 2 in there, I would not get the chat window and I would not get the C# windows to open. Doing a new bottle with Windows 7, doing WebView 2 first, then installing StreamerBot. Here we are installed. I got it to install. So now you go back. You go to install programs, and these are already the pre-populated software that you can install. You don't have to just go with this, but StreamerBot is in there. Just click on it, start installation. And this will take a while, but there's no commands, no nothing. Just really simple. You'll see stuff about, Lutris and using Wine 11 and all that. Do what you feel is best, but this setup, custom under SOTA, the 9 point whatever it was, and you should be fine. Now this does take a while, but it's been working pretty good on my Linux setup. Some of the things that won't do right, or I have found out that it won't work properly, is it won't run bash commands. It won't run Linux bash commands. Just will not run that. So, like if there's a program or something that you want to run by bash, it won't, even though it will work that way in Windows. I think it just looking at the commands differently from a windowed environment to Linux. Thank you, Gscape, for the bits. I appreciate that. That was nice of you. Thank you so much. This takes a little bit to install, but once you get it going, you get a nice setup. Now, also, one issue, and I think it has to do with the difference between dark modes in Linux and Windows, even though you're now in a windowed environment. When you first get it, and hopefully I can show you when it comes up, you can't read these. This is so grayed out. But you do a little bit of a registry edit, and you can get it to be nice and clear. This would be all grayish, very hard to read. But I think that's just the difference in between like a dark mode from Windows and a dark mode from Linux. You can see, like right now, it's installing .NET 48. Then it will also install .NET 4.8.1. But it should, once you get it set up right, it should read your files where you keep them. Like I said, you're going to need to install Flat Seal. So you can open up your home drive, or you could do specific folders with permissions if you don't want it to see your whole drive. But you'll need to do that. Have you ever used Flat Seal? Do you use Flat Seal? Do you use a lot of flat packs? So I'm on EndeavourOS Gnome Edition. I have my OBS installed with the AUR version from Titan 642. And most of my plugins, I have like 31 plugins, and they're all from the AUR. I don't know, add 32. No, I did remove one. But I actually compiled my first plugin. It wasn't too hard. I haven't done all that fancy Linuxy stuff, even though I've been Linux for about 10 years. I'm not like that Nusing Links guy that knows what he's doing. But I was able to move over. So I also stream on Windows. So I have the same setup, same setup on Windows. You've been on Linux for 5 years, never seen Win 11? Well, my Windows setup is on Windows 11. I don't have a lot of problems. I had streamed on Linux for about 7 years. And I started getting a little tired of some of the workarounds. And I saw some of the stuff that was coming out, for streaming and that. So I installed Windows 11 and had pretty much streamed on Windows 11 for about a year. And then I finally decided to kind of go back to Linux a little bit and see what kind of setup I can get going. And like I said, so there's no voice control or TTS type like with SpeakerBot on Linux, but I installed a voice control using Vosk and adding OBS CMD to the system. So now if I go computer, main view, it works pretty smooth.
Here's the main view boss.
And then I have actually a TTS. So I was getting ready to build a kind of like a TTS using Piper. But there's a SpeakerBot-like drop-in for Linux called Speakaboo. Very, very, very basic. It's got the TTS. It uses Piper. It uses the same WebSocket server, so it looks like StreamerBot, but it doesn't have all the like SpeakerBot. You can get all these, like Google Voice, 11IO, and all that. You can't get that with Speakaboo, but it does give you text capability, TTS capability. Because I'm on GNOME and Wayland on Linux on my Endeavor, custom docks don't work. So if one was used to custom docks in on Windows in OBS, you won't get custom docks to work. Which means that also the VSTs, if you used VSTs, normally you can get VSTs to work on Linux. There's some that will work, some that won't. But I used one by Graylian. I was using Graylian too. But those control windows for the VSTs won't open. And in most cases would crash OBS. No change for that in the near future because we OBS users have to wait for the Chromium Embedded Framework people to add it in, and it's on a to-do list, but I've gotten pretty close to what I have in Windows. I wish, well, the thing with Speakaboo and using Piper, if you get any of the Onyx voice files, like I have I found a Picard. I got K9 from Doctor Who. And a couple others. They're actually much better voices than like using the Microsoft David or Zira or some of those. And they're pretty quick because they're on your system. The Voss, there we go. So it finished install. Oh, here. Let me go back here. So when it finishes installing, you'll have a choice of creating an app, which you'll put it in your app center, whether you're on GNOME or that. I'm going to cancel that for right now. To start it, you can start it from here. Now, hopefully, since I don't have I have another instance of StreamerBot open. I think it should run another one. But it's not opening, probably because I got this other StreamerBot running. Oh, there it goes. It takes a while. You'll see a black screen. There we go. So now you got a fresh instance of StreamerBot. No actions or that in it. But if, let's see. What just popped open there? Let me just like create something. We'll just call it test. See that? See how dark it is? Now it comes out light, but then half of it is dark. You don't see the arrows. This is what you're gonna get. So that's an easy fix. I'm going to close this instance out. So if you go back into the bottle setup for your StreamerBot, if you go down to the registry editor and open that up. So if you ever used Windows Registry, let's see, it is under, is it control user, control panel, colors, yeah. So if you go in, you go under H key, current user, go under control panel, go under colors, and look for the menu. right? It's menu text. Sorry, menu text. See, menu text is 000. Trauma. Click on modify and change it to white, like 255.255.255. It's as simple as that. Close the registry editor. Now, if we go back in and open up this streamer bot, tick tock, tick tock. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So now we'll go to this test one. Now, whoops. Look, you can see everything. And it was as simple as that. Now you can see everything. So it's one quick little registry edit under HKey users, colors, look for menu text. That's the only thing you need to change. I guess if you wanted, you could make these another color too, but you know, white just makes it so much visible on the black background. And now with this the newer version of StreamerBot in the wine version before Nate 1280 created this newer version, and when it was still a light version and all that, but in Linux you wouldn't get you wouldn't be able to create drop downs for the actions, and they would be scattered. If you didn't name them right, they'd be scattered all over. So it's as simple as that. I call it simple, but you know, I've been doing this for a little bit. And then from there, you got to do all your logins, and you got to sign up to Twitch, or you sign up to YouTube and all that stuff. Can it be controlled via MIDI? Actually, so it does. It shows voice control here, but you have to ignore it. It's not going to work. But here's it does have integrations as MIDI in and MIDI out. I've never used MIDI, so I do not know. But it has MIDI in and MIDI out. So over on the Discord forum for StreamerBot, a lot of help there. And that's how you get StreamerBot installed on in bottles on Linux. I'm just gonna uninstall it now. I hope it's some help. I do like StreamerBot. Oh, just cheer. Thank you. You didn't have to. I appreciate that. So you're able to get into the folders. You can browse the C drive, which is in actually, because it's bottles and it's a flat pack, it's in .var app, bottles, data, bottles, StreamerBot, however you name it. You actually be in users and public. And StreamerBot, and here's your StreamerBot files. So I was able just to take my Windows version and drop it in. I just did a backup and I dropped that in there. And I had my whole setup on Windows. So the big difference I had to do is I had to change text format because Windows uses text GDI and Linux uses text freestyle, or if you use the plugin text pthread, they all work the same, even though they're different. I don't often use the audio files in StreamerBot itself. I have a page in my OBS or scene that has, I call it a soundboard, and has all of my sounds in it that way. I had started doing that when I first installed StreamerBot and Wine. And that's pretty much it. I love this program because I can do so much with it. Here is what Speakaboo looks like. It's very simple. It uses Piper TTS. Excuse me. I drank my tea wrong. Has all these voice profiles in here. Pretty much I just use the English Great Britain. This Alan here is a big Linux user, Alan Pope. Used to be with Canonical. That's his voice. But the voices are pretty decent. And you can set up the voice aliases. So like...
This is a test message.
So that's the Alan voice. This is when I verbally change my scenes.
This is a test message.
That's a British voice. Oh, here, Bobby from...
This is a test message.
I found a Bobby voice, and the robot voice I got right now is Vasco. Forget what gamer that he's from.
This is a test message.
Here's the Picard one.
This is a test message.
Let's see, here's K9.
This is a test message.
And then Kronk.
This is a test message.
I'll leave that at Vasco. So, and you just like in StreamerBot, you can create these aliases in that. The settings uses the same WebSocket server, so StreamerBot thinks that this is SpeakerBot and the same UDP server. So I got to do some things a little bit differently. I had to create a for the TTS command. I had to create a filter, so the TTS doesn't read like the emojis. So I find it all pretty functional. I have a so on my Windows setup there is a plugin that you can have all the programs that you need to start to stream, but there's not a Linux version of that. So I use a Python script to start all my stream. It starts up StreamerBot, Speakaboo, YouTube Music, Social Stream Ninja, and Touch Portal. I use Touch Portal as my Touch Portal on my tablet for my like my Stream Deck. And then I also use StreamerBot's web deck. So instead of having to go in and run into commands by running test, I have a tablet here. My old Galaxy tablet still works. So I have a deck for all my StreamerBot stuff. So like if I just press a button and so I don't have to run a test or run a command. Voice-wise, because of no VST is able to really run, I am using Easy Effects. And I do have some bash scripts for that. So like right now I'm on what I call my normal voice, but I can change it to
A baby voice, and because I don't see the button activate, it's just the way that Touch Portal works with these scripts. I had to send a notification to my system, and I'm in a baby voice. I set up all these voices in Easy Effects.
and I could go back to my normal voice. And then I have
a hacker voice because I'll run a Matrix-like setup, a scene. So I want that kind of like hacker voice.
because what's the point of having scenes when you don't have the voice to go with it? And there are voice changers that work in Linux, but having them combined with StreamerBot is I haven't been able to find one that works that way. So Easy Effects, I use bash scripts to change them. So when someone, like again, here we'll go to my Matrix.
And then the hacker voice should be active. Yep. And background removal is not the greatest on Linux, but this plugin is Background Remover Lite, and it is so much better than the other background remover that you can find, which uses a lot of resource. I would just drop like crazy in frame rates in that.
So there are some little workarounds that are kind of, so-so. And then when I'm done, I have a button that then clears out all the programs that I started for streaming. And that's it. So I'm going to look at, I'm forgetting what it's called right now. But so like with the TTS and the voice control, that's all local. That does not go out to the web at all. And having those different voices in TTS, like I said, they're like Onyx files, and they're used for a lot of home automation voice commands in that, but they work with Piper. And there are people that like the K9 and that. I have a data, but I don't think I installed it right. I got to go find the data file again. I got to find the right data file. But you can install even on your Linux system a local AI voice setup. to where you can train. You can have your voice recorded, and you can have your voice set up for it, or you can train other voices.
Someone has joined the chat on Twitch.
Hello, Donnie. Going well. Yes, it's late there. It's what is it? It's almost 2:00 in the morning, dude. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing well. Things are going good. I was showing someone how to install StreamerBot and all that. You were having a night out at Gramps? I hope it was a good time. Hope your Gramps is doing well. Did you miss GeoGuessr? No, that's tomorrow. Or later today for you. But no, GeoGuessr will be tomorrow. I was working on trying to have automatic shout-outs. I do have like the automatic, like when you guys first come into the chat and do your first words. But for other top, bigger streamers that come in, that join, I want to, instead of having to manually shout them out, like with the shout-out command, I want to see if what I set up will automatically work. There are, yes, I see a lot of streamers do that, but they're using other people's stuff, which is fine. But if I could try to make it, and theirs might look a little fancier or a little bit better. But it's always fun to try to do it yourself. That's what makes, when every stream is the same. Like my first words when you guys first come in, I've gone through a couple iterations. I think it looks nice the way it's done. I could set up where it would grab from, say, your Twitch account and show a video. But everybody's kind of doing that. You respect that? Thank you. Now, mine might look as good as others, but it's mine. But I doubt you'll find a much nicer music player. There's some nice ones out there, but that's with some HTML and CSS. Not that I know that really well. But ChatGPT said it would never tell my secret. So I was showing someone, they asked about StreamerBot working on Linux, and I showed them the install on bottles. Got another gentleman he installed MX Linux on his setup, on his laptop that he couldn't get things to install. And so far it's working okay. So it's nice to be helpful. So do you have to work? You usually work at night, right? If I remember right. My upper thirds, not lower thirds, my upper thirds, that did that with some HTML. Oh, you're at uni, not working yet. Okay. I noticed the other day on my Linux, it wasn't on Windows. It shows the song that I'm playing, but it wasn't working on Linux, and I forgot that's the one thing I didn't set up. But then it was doubling up the track, and I got that fixed. You have a late class tomorrow, so you can sleep a little. So what are you taking at uni? If you don't mind me asking. Yes, just zero message. Yeah, I sorted that out. It turned out I was trying to make it more complicated than what it was. And it was a real simple fix. I posted a question in the Discord streamer bot forum. And the suggestion was perfect. It worked out right. So, and then I should have another message that goes to YouTube that says, sorry, no message, no song on, no song on YouTube. Biochem, wow. Boring and rough, just like... Oh, we won't go there today. Hey, dude! King Charles, did you hear about King Charles today? He threw some zingers. He threw some zingers today. He slipped them in. Who thought he was that funny? My wife is she looks at politics like guys look at football or sports. So, and then since I retired, yeah, I mean, we have big reasons to be pissed off here in the States. In my opinion, there'll be a lot of people that will say, oh, no, it's perfect. We're the top country in the world. But what did King Charles say? Oh, I noticed I haven't been at the White House for a while, to something to that effect. I noticed some changes. I haven't seen... apparently, we tried to make some changes like that back in 1812. But yeah, he made some zingers today. I gotta hand it to him. Do I have? Yeah. Gotta give King Charles an applause there. Although I've heard, actually, not that it matters to me, but Queen Camilla, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so I think something to that effect too. Yeah. But just a lot of shit here in the States. I don't get it. And how people think that it's all right. I try not to talk about it too much, but you know, I don't hide from it, you know. Yeah, he's in his it's I think he's like triple class on Wednesdays. His mom, my wife takes him. He helps because now he's a 4th-degree black belt. He has to start teaching, helping teach classes. So from 6 to 6:40, he helps instruct, and then he's in 2 classes. He's in a kickboxing class and another class on Wednesday. So he does 3 classes on Wednesday. Keeps him busy. We got to get him a job. But he had his they had a tournament on Saturday. I don't know how it is in kind of the rest of the world. I guess it also depends on what karate school you go to and that. But way back when I was in martial arts, I kind of moved and didn't get I didn't stay involved with it. But I went to I didn't participate, but I went to several tournaments. And when we think of like Karate Kid, those tournaments, there's no way that there are full contact classes for kids and all that. Just no way. And it can get a little boring, but there are some, my God, there are some of the kids that are just so into it. I was sporty growing up. I think we talked about this. I baseball was always my thing. But as kids, we played baseball, softball, street hockey, touch football. There was something going on. So I lived in a neighborhood that we had what we called a circle at the end. So it was a curved street, but at the end here, it was and we played softball and stuff like that in there. Your uncle was into boxing and completely broke his leg fighting someone, then quit. Yeah, that's so. They're padded and all that, but it's you strike to score points, so they break it up. There's no real heavy duty contact. It does happen, especially when you get up, and you're doing bigger competitions. I know one of the instructors at the school had a couple years ago. There was I don't know where I don't know where to find the video anymore, but he had knocked out his opponent, not on purpose, but with a kick that he had. But it helps keep my son healthy. He really enjoys it. We got him in our we have things like in our communities, there are park districts, and park districts offer ways to get kids involved either in sports and all that. So our park district had something going on with this karate school, and he was going 1 day a week. He's been actually in it since he was been 6 years old, so like 24 years. And he had been going 1 day a week, and finally the instructor said, hey, I think he would be benefit. I mean, it's not cheap for, these schools are very low maintenance. But they charge a lot for the uniform. But now he's in this black gi with a nice black belt and his name in gold letterings on his back. He looks good. He's not always smooth and all that, but I do not want to be on the end of his spinning back kick. Do not. He is strong. And he put his foot through a wall at the school. So, yeah, we're pretty proud of him. But then he works out like crazy. He'll be at the gym 2 to 4 hours a day. And he constantly works out. But yeah, we're very proud of him. He does a good job. But I'm so happy I got my thing to work. Whoops.
Gameplay activated boss. Enjoy Geogesso.
Why did that... Is that my button here? I didn't say computer gameplay. Computer main view.
EO is the main view boss.
But yeah, I did some lawn work today. Man, I struggle with that. I am very lucky. I don't have many health issues. I have a lot of physical issues. I got problems with my hand. This was carpal tunnel. This one's all just arthritis. But I have a real bad lower back. Got a lot of damage to the 3, 4, and 5. And then I have a slight fracture in that, not the tailbone, but it's right below 5. And surgery was an option, but it's so badly damaged that the support would have to go up my spine and really stop any mobility that I have. And then it would create a different type of pain. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I like GeoGuessr. Maybe I should do it 2 times a week. I don't know. Because that has been my more popular stream. And the Sunday chat. Sunday was good. Sunday I brought out my comic book collection, which I haven't done in a long time. We cook most of our meals. We don't often go out to eat. But things will change up, but on average, we go out to eat twice a month. And it ties in with our shopping. So like in the middle of the month, I'll pick up something that we want to eat and we bring it home. Then at the end of the month, we go out somewhere nice to eat. Now, things will a month and a half ago, my father-in-law passed away. So that whole week we were eating out. And I'm a pretty decent cook. Tonight I made, I kind of flavored some rice with chicken broth. And then I fried up some onion and yellow pepper. And instead of a green pepper, we had a yellow pepper with some garlic and then some Italian sausage. But I'll do a lot of cooking. It was expected, but not expected at the time. It's a shame. His health just really went bad, which happens. but it's hard to have a healthy lifestyle. Like yesterday, I actually went for a 40-minute walk, and I try to stay off a lot of ibuprofen and that. I do have one health issue. Well, I have a lot of immune system issues. Is the arthritis. So not only is my back damaged,
Here's
but
the
I have a
Minky
lot
boss.
of. Wow. All of a sudden, my voice thing is starting to mess up. But yeah, so we have a lot of like forest preserves and that we can go to. So I actually went for a blood test yesterday, and on the way back, I stopped off at the forest preserve, did a 40-minute walk. I struggle. I just struggle. Mowing the lawn is a struggle. I keep pushing it because I don't want to be. Because I know once I really stop being mobile, I'm fucked. I'm screwed. It's going to be just downhill after that, no matter how healthy I am. So I have a good reason to keep pushing on. But this has been also a kind of a stressful year because I'm at the same age my dad passed away. No such a thing as a stupid question. You were in an American streamer and his community roasted the hell out of you. Okay. That doesn't sound nice. Oh, well, I thought you were starting a question about this American streamer. Do you think mayo and Tabasco is a terrible combo on tuna? Oh, God. When did that? When did I change? I'm looking at my stream monitor. And all of a sudden, my Twitch stream wasn't up there. It was on some other streamer. I'm like, what the hell's going on tonight? That must be. And it's my channel. It's telling me that I'm welcome to Steve's very own chat. But anyway. I don't eat a lot of, God, I can't tell you the last time I had tuna. I don't mind it. I didn't, but my wife doesn't particularly like it. And, but no, I don't think that, I mean, usually it's mayo, but I like, spicy stuff. So I guess Tabasco would be fine. If it tastes good to you, that's all that counts. Fair enough. They started calling me Bean Boy because I like beans on toast. That's an English thing. I have a Scottish friend. He's a transplant Scot. He lives in Kentucky. He's been in the States for about 14 or more years. And his breakfast will be beans and toast and bangers. See, I know some English. So I have beans and toast and bangers, and sometimes I'll have some scrambled egg with that. But I'll tell you. So I'm Austrian and Polish. My father Austrian, first generation Austrian. My mom second generation Polish. Grew up. They raised 4 kids. There were 4 of us. My mom had to pick up a job back in the day, back in the 60s when, moms didn't do that, but financially, because my dad wasn't making, making great money. So my mom had to go to work. So we often didn't have a lot. My mom was a great Polish cook. But every once in a while, it would be like we'd have to stretch the budget. And we would have dinners that would consist of scrambled eggs and baked beans. So I know exactly where you're coming from. So there might be some English in me somewhere, somehow. I don't know. And every once in a while, I'll make myself some scrambled eggs and baked beans, and it reminds me of childhood. That's not derail. That's what part of the stream is about. Just all of a sudden something different. So no derailing. I'm sure families around the world, have found ways to have to make the budget last and how to feed. But, I think, I won't say it's probably typical American, but, it's like, if you don't eat breakfast the way we eat breakfast and all this kind of stuff, then things are wrong. But do you like beans and toast? Yes? Then you're good. There's, my wife will get these little cans of baked beans. I wish she would get more. But, yeah, I'm sure those people that were making fun of you kind of ate some pretty, what we would consider shitty stuff. But I like to try. I mean, I don't have a wide variety of tastes. But when I was working for the drugstore, Subway sandwiches, I used to like them, but at least there's a couple that are close to us, and they kind of ruined the sandwiches. But my favorite Subway sandwich is I don't know if it's called the same over by you, but a BMT. I don't know why it's BMT, because the meat's not BMT. It's ham, salami. See, ham, salami, pepperoni. And I get it loaded with lettuce, tomato, pickles, onions, hot peppers, the works. So it's more like a huge salad sandwich than it is a sandwich. But when I was working at Walgreens, I worked with a lot of different ethnic people of ethnic backgrounds. White, black, Hispanic, Pakistan, Indian, Afghanistan. This one girl from Pakistan. No, she was from Afghanistan. She would make me some biryani. Now she said she dumbed down the spice for me, but the jasmine rice, the different colors of jasmine rice, and the chicken. Oh, that was so good. And then she would do it with rib tips. She was a good cook. But there are certain, like, I eat a lot of jalapenos. I pickle jalapenos. I have jalapenos often. I'll make a pepper pot. Jalapenos, carrots, celery, onion. What's my go-to meal? It does depend. I love a good Mexican meal, but I also love a good, I love Chinese and Japanese. But it depends. I'll get these. My son, he's got to know already. He's asking, where are we going to have where are we going out for our big meal? He calls it big meal. Where are we going for our big meal? I don't know. I'll let you know the day before. What? You got to wait till you see what you got to have a taste for? I go, yeah. Of course I do. But in Chicago this weekend, we're going. There's an autism walk for Autism Speaks here in the States, and it's going to be in Chicago at where the baseball White Sox play. Rate Field, it's called now. And there's a 5K walk. So near there's a restaurant that I went with my father-in-law once, Rickabeens. My God, they have this pounded steak sandwich, this breaded steak sandwich that's dipped in red sauce and stuff. I mean, the pounded out steak, oh my God. I mean, the steak is probably as, if not bigger than this tablet, pounded out and breaded, dipped in red sauce. Actually folded over and then they put like mozzarella cheese and giardiniera, spicy giardiniera in the middle. This thing is freaking huge. And then they make a chicken Vesuvio sandwich, breaded chicken dipped in garlic butter sauce, and then done the same way, cheese and giardiniera. And they have a bunch of other stuff. Oh my God, that's what we're looking to go to on Saturday after our we'll be hungry after a 5K walk. But it depends. If I really wanted to eat, it would be a Brazilian steakhouse. You want to try that kangaroo burger? There's a streamer I follow, Bit Gamey. He creates like games and Go and stuff like that. He's actually a transplanted Englishman. He's been living in the States for a while, and he lives in Texas. But his name's Bit Gamey, and we're talking about food, and I said it was a bit gamey, and he didn't get it. Just, I said, come on. the food was a bit gamey. Now there's an Englishman that needs to be made fun of, I tell you. Oh my. Oh, excuse me. I'm just waiting for the family to tell me that they're on their way home. A lot of quiet time today. I didn't want to lay down, but that nap really didn't do it right. Well, Donnie, thank you. Get some sleep. Have fun at Biochem tomorrow, and hopefully see you during GeoGuessr. Oh, I gotta finish. The one thing I gotta do. So I set up, you know how I set up stuff over on the Windows side. I gotta set it up on the Linux side and that. Thank you, Donnie. Have a good night. I probably would just call it a night here. So I'm thinking about, I'm a Linux user. Been using Linux for over 10 years. Just had recently gone back to Windows in the last year or so to stream. And it's kind of coming back to Linux to build a platform. I don't want to do a lot of Linuxy content again, but I'm thinking of doing content on coming over from Windows to Linux. I didn't say right camera. So my voice model's not working out really well. But I'm thinking of doing some series on what you should choose. Now, there's a lot of, when you're looking at Linux, there's a lot of distros out there, what we call distros. You can go crazy trying to pick, but if you are looking to stream for the first time on Linux, there are certain distros you probably should use and certain ones that you shouldn't, depending on what you want. And I see it all the time in the Discord, in the Linux Discord, OBS forum. I see it on the Windows side. I've not used OBS before. I need help. Why do you start doing anything without learning about it, right? But now, not only do they don't know OBS, but that they don't know Linux either. And it's like, because they're listening to so many people. The big distro like right now because of gaming is CachyOS, but then OBS has its issues on there working and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about, of doing some content like that. Let me know what you think. But with that, computer, time to say goodbye. There we go.
Thank you all for stopping by.
All right, so I want to thank JJ, Gscape, Lucid Link, Cyber Wolfie, Donnie for joining me tonight. And if you were just quiet in the background, that is fine. I'm happy to have you show up. So tomorrow is Thursday, GeoGuessr. Be around, times I got to take my son somewhere. So 3:30-ish US Central, -6 UTC. Stop by and help me find out where the fuck I am. GeoGuessr has been really fun. It actually is OpenGuessr, the freer version, but I don't feel like paying a monthly fee for GeoGuessr. Just cheap. But with that, hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you. You guys have a good night or day or morning.